In this video, we're going to be talking about the 8 harsh truths most traders gurus won't tell you. And actually, these specific truths will make your trading journey way smoother, way easier. And I would love to know these truths whenever I first started trading. I didn't know them, so my path, my trading journey was way more complicated. So I'm 100% sure that if you guys listen to these truths and believe what I'm saying and focus on building realistic expectations in the market, it's going to be way easier for you to actually overcome difficult scenarios whenever you're trading and becoming a successful trader. So basically, I'm going to minimize this. This video is going to be also very raw with no edits. Last video, I did it the same way. You guys loved it. So I'm going to just stick to this format for a while. And of course, it's way harder for me because it basically pushes myself to avoid making as many mistakes as I usually do, but at the same time, I'm improving my communication skills, so it's a win-win in this case. So let's get right into this. I want to make this very short and very informative. So I made a carousel on my Instagram, but I wanted to explain it because I think it's extremely important. So the 8 harsh truths the trading gurus won't tell you. So the first one, and I think it's extremely important, actually all of them are important, but this one is very, very important, which is the difference between the dream and the reality of trading. In my case, when I first started, I was like, someone sold me a dream. Literally, they told me that I was going to make quick profits. It was going to be a total freedom. And it was basically trading was a synonym of effortless wins. Basically winning every single time, making infinite amount of cash, not losing, and just being around, enjoying vacations and working the least amount compared to everyone, right? But immediately when you start trading, you realize that this is just fake. This is not real. Most gurus try to tell you this dream because at the end, if you really understand their marketing strategies, they're trying to sell you a lifestyle. So you just get catched into that. You think that that's the truth. And that's how you get into trading. And that was myself. And I know there's a lot of people that entered this business by the same thing, but let me tell you that this is completely different. And the truth is that trading is not easy. It requires emotional discipline. It also demands risk management. It demands professionalism. It demands a lot of hours into this, a lot of hard work. And basically it involves a steep learning curve. You start from here and it's going to be a long time where this is going to be your curve. No process at all, until there's going to be one time where it's going to start compounding immediately and your growth is going to be exponential. In my last 3 years, I didn't see any results in my trading, and in this last 6 months, everything has been great and my growth has been exponential, being able to get funded with 2 prop firms already and basically make things that I never I thought, like, I knew I was going to make it, but I didn't realize, or I didn't believe that it was gonna happen so fast, and it did. And that's because there was so much hard work into that previously that it just compounds and it literally arrives to your life whenever you're least expecting it. And this is how it builds. It's built with skill, no shortcuts. There is no shortcut, and that's unfortunately, let's call it unfortunately, the reality of trading compared to what you were catched, what you were inspired, or what you thought trading was gonna be. So there's a big difference between what you dream or what you thought it was gonna be, which the actual reality of what trading is. So make sure to avoid listening to those who just tell you that you can make a lot of money from a beach without doing absolutely anything. Just ignore those guys because they're probably just selling you a course, and they are misleading you and basically taking you by the wrong path. The next one, let me just open this real quick. The next lesson or truth basically is 90% of traders fail, right? And as we can see, this is like the harsh reality. When I first started, is the same as I mentioned before. I thought there was 100% win rate. I thought that if I was losing, it's because I was doing something wrong. I was always looking for a holy grail. And the reality is that 90% of traders fail. Trading, it's not easy. It's actually the opposite of easy. It's extremely demanding, not only based on how much time you need to put into it, but also emotionally. It's extremely demanding from an emotional side. And actually most traders never make it. And I personally don't think they don't make it because they weren't capable of, because I think everyone is capable of achieving trading. Actually, trading becomes extremely easy and extremely boring when you know what you're doing. I just think that because there's so much fake information out there, and people just think, as the previous truth, that trading is easy and you can make a lot of money, they just go and do this. They risk too much. They also let emotions control decisions because they want money. They are literally trying to get so much money so fast that, of course, emotions get into play. And this is basically the most important part here. There's a lack of data in the process. They avoid backtesting because they just want fast results. And as the previous truth says, there's no shortcut. So if there's no shortcut, there's no easy way of making money. You're not going to make it easily because it's not an effortless job. It's actually something demanding. Then by gathering and taking all this together, that's why most of traders fail. It's not because it's difficult. Actually, of course, it's difficult. Every single career in the world is difficult. But the difference between whoever's make them in this business and those who quit, the main difference is that those who make it never gave up, first of all. And second, they understood that making money is not an easy path, and they had to work hard. They had to actually approach trading like a professional and let those fake information aside and just focus on one single thing instead of just focusing on pursuing money as fast as possible, risking too much, letting emotions control the decisions, and of course avoiding backtesting because that's the work, just avoiding the work because they want money. That's basically what most traders that don't make it do, and it's 90%. There's actually statistics proving this, and you guys can Google it and you'll see that it's maybe even higher than 90%. So that's why prop firms make money, because 90% of traders who purchase prop firm challenges fail. So statistically, they have an advantage, they have an edge over traders. That's how they make money. So as a quick thing here, it's prioritize risk management before profit chasing. And as I said before, those who chase money based on what gurus told them, for example, you can see a lot of videos on YouTube that say, with this strategy, you'll have 100% win rate in just 2 months. I want to say like a bad word, but I can't because YouTube don't allow me. But that's horrible. Never go into a video or never purchase a mentorship of someone who's telling you that. That's just fake. That's misleading. And you guys must actually understand what really works, which is hard work, consistency, and putting the hours into whatever you want to make it. Not only in trading, but whatever you want to make in life. The next one, I usually speak a lot. Sorry about that, but I want to make this extremely clear. Then, this is very similar, so this is going to be short. Trading, it's completely different to passive income. You need to trade. That's it. You need to be in the markets. For example, if you're a scalper, you need to be extremely attentive in your trading hours. So if you're trading, for example, New York session, you must be sitting in your desk, watching at the charts and making the best decisions you can by watching the charts. So it's not something that is passive, unless you're maybe trading bots, which in my opinion, I don't know too much about it. And I don't think that's easy to also make it passive because you need to optimize them consistently. So in simple words, trading, it's not a passive, like a synonym of passive income. You need to be trading. You need to be sitting at your desk, taking the trades, taking the best decisions, and doing everything consistently, repeating your edge consistently, which gets to a point where it gets boring, but that's the main idea. You need to do it because that's the way you're going to make money. So it's not passive. You need to work. And as I said here, it's not effortless and it's something you have to do by yourself. Because of course you can maybe teach someone how to trade, but every single person is going to analyze and understand the markets differently. I can literally show you how I trade, exactly how I do it, and you're going to take different trades than the ones I take. I'm going to basically trade different, see the market sometimes different than you, and that doesn't mean you're a better trader than me or I'm a better trader than you. It's just that we trade differently, so you have to do it by yourself. So it's not passive, and this is something important to mention. Then if we have this, no strategy, no results. This is extremely important to understand, because if you don't have a strategy, then you shouldn't be trading. It's simple as that. And I remember when I first started that most trading gurus were only speaking about psychology, and they were saying that the main reason why most traders never succeed in trading is because they lack psychology, or their trading psychology is not at its best, and they should improve their psychology. But at the same time, I just think that it's not real. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't understand what actually, like how the markets actually move, and you don't have a proven strategy, psychology doesn't matter. Because if you can make money if you don't understand what you're doing. Psychology goes in second place. Of course, if you want to scale your business, if you want to actually become the best trader in the world, and you want to get to a very consistent professional situation, then trading psychology, that's where it fits, and that's where it's extremely important. But between that specific part, between you're unprofitable and profitable, you need to focus more on strategy. You need to focus more on price action instead of just trading psychology. And how you actually approach that? By having a strategy, by backtesting that strategy, gathering data, understanding your data analytics, and focusing mostly on executing that strategy consistently without changing anything, instead of just focusing on trading psychology. Because those two things are very different. And like I said before, they both need to be in place for you to actually achieve a very good results, and also achieve scalability in an exponential way. But if you don't have a strategy, then I promise it's kind of impossible for you to get somewhere in trading. So you need to find a strategy for you to get somewhere. First of all, you need to have profitable data. As I said here, you need to have something very strictly defined. So a trading plan, for example, you need to understand when you're going to enter a trade, when you're going to exit, when you're going to move your stop loss to break even, in case you move stop loss to break even to make your trade risk free, when actually you're avoiding trading, when it's your usual trading times, when you're actually in the markets, when you're not in the markets, and have a specific plan that throughout testing, throughout data gathering and data collection, it proves that it works over time, and it has basically an edge in the markets. And that's the only way. Then when you have that edge in the markets, when you know what you're doing, you can pass to the second most important thing in trading, which is trading psychology. And after a while, trading psychology becomes the most important thing. And then strategy is just the second thing that you start making mechanically, because it just becomes mechanically. It's just a pattern recognition. You go into the charts, you identify your setup, you take it, boom, go. But if you don't execute and you don't improve in your trading psychology after a while, then you're not gonna be able to scale. But first of all, focus on strategy. Don't let others just tell you that you should focus on trading psychology first, and that's the reason why you're unprofitable. You're unprofitable because you don't know what you're doing. That's basically what happened to me. I didn't have a very simple strategy. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a very organized trading plan. And most importantly, I didn't have data, because I wasn't collecting data. And that's why I wasn't unprofitable. That's basically the main reason I was unprofitable, because I didn't have that. And despite, of course, reading a lot of books about trading psychology, I didn't know what I was doing. So those books weren't doing absolutely anything if I wasn't doing the right work. So focus mostly on strategy rather than psychology at the beginning. Then if we pass here, this one is very, very important, which is mindset over mechanics. So this is when, just what I basically told you guys, is when you get to a point where you're profitable, this is what you need to focus most on, which is mindset. Because mindset is what makes you scale. For example, avoiding things like chasing, like revenge trading, for example, so chasing losses, or letting your emotions define what you're doing by, for example, having FOMO, so fear of missing out, or for example, greed and over trading. these are things that whenever you achieve profitability and you start executing your plan consistently and you have a good strategy, you need to understand that mindset comes over mechanics, because your mechanical standpoint, your mechanical side of trading, like your mind already know what you have to do. You already have pattern recognition. You understand what are your rules, what is your trading plan, and what you have only to do is to focus on this mindset. I heard a lot of traders in the past saying that you should always focus on mechanics no matter what, but the truth is you need to focus on mindset first whenever you're profitable, because this specific word, mindset, or in other words, trading psychology, is what's going to make you scale. It's what is going to make you become a better trader overall, because your mind and your pattern recognition is already built if you have already put the hours in, you have data, and you know basically what you're doing. And if you control your emotions, then the profits will follow. It's that simple. Well, it's not simple, but that's what basically you should do. That's basically what I'm focusing in right now, because I know I already found consistency in my trading. Thanks God, it's been so many years in this, but I already know what I'm doing. I have data that proves my system. But this moment, I'm struggling, and I'm not struggling, like I'm working hard into this specific aspect of my trading, which is getting my emotions right and trying to scale my capital, trying to scale my business. Then we move on to the next one. Consistency beats jackpot trades. Honestly, this one is very nice. And I'm a true believer that consistency is everything. That like it is what it is. Like, you can't achieve anything in your life if you are not willing to put the work, and if you're not willing to show up every single day to do the same thing. And that thing could be boring, but I don't care. It is what it is. Like, consistency is just how you achieve great things in your life. By showing up every single day. In my case, I've been showing up to the markets the last 3 years and a half. And despite having different strategies, despite having different mentors, different approaches, I've been looking to the charts for 3 years straight, losing more than winning. Basically, waking up the next day to trade the markets, despite last day I lost, I don't know, $500, or investing in pro firms and failing all my courses, like all my challenges, I've still been able to show up here and repeat everything all over again, and having something in mind, which is, I know if I keep doing the same thing over and over again, of course, not repeating the same mistakes, but repeating the same effort I'm putting, and actually like trying harder every single time. So making myself better, 1% better every single day. I know that by being consistent, I'm not only outperforming the competition, I'm just outperforming myself. I'm overcoming those limitations that usually our minds put into us, which is, I'm not going to achieve anything in life. I'm not capable of doing this because last 2 years I've been losing consistently in the market, so I'm not capable of doing this. By showing up every single day and doing something that makes you uncomfortable and learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable, that's the only way that you can actually achieve success, because everyone can win in trading. You can literally go into the markets right now, press a long position in, I don't know, Euro USD, and you can probably win. But always consistency goes first, because I promise that trader who won one single time on Euro USD, a long position, he's never going to be able to achieve consistent results over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And that's what attracts investor capital. That's how investors going to you, see your track record and says, okay, Esteban has been consistent in this last 5, 6, 7 years, returning, I don't know, an average of 25 to 35% per year. That's consistency. It's not like, consistency has nothing to do with 1 year ending up in 350% return and the other one ending up in minus 5% and the other one in 50% and the other one in minus 60%. That's not consistency. I honestly believe that consistency is having steady, repeatable results, having a strategy that is able to be replicated over the long run, that it's simple, And at the same time, yourself, your person, like your whole, is able to show up every single day and execute that boring strategy over a long period of time to make those results compound over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. That's consistency, and always consistency is going to outperform jackpot trades or jackpot performances. So always prioritize delayed gratification, prioritize a long-term mindset, make sure to show up every single day, work for your dreams, and 100% consistently outperforms perfection. There's never, like, if you are consistent with what you're doing, especially in trading, I think that's the most important asset, even most important, like more important than trading psychology and knowing your strategy. This is the most important thing, being consistent. And how you're consistent, you find a strategy, you learn it, you get to a point where it's boring for you. And if it's boring, then you're doing things right. And then you just execute it consistently over and over again every single day. No matter if it's boring, you just avoid going for something more fun, something where there is maybe more returns. No, just stick to whatever is boring, because if it gets boring, it's because you know what you're doing. You learn to, you learn how to swim. Maybe the first month, 2 months, 3 months, it's kind of difficult. You're struggling, but then it just becomes something mechanical. And that's where you're able to perfect or make that into a perfection skill. That's it. So just focus on this. And that's one of the most important truths I once learned from a mentor in the past. Then losing trades are part of the game. I don't want to go into this very deep because I think this is something everyone speaks about, but this is extremely important and there's no way to avoid this. Whoever tells you that there's a holy grail, that there's 100% win rate, just avoid that because that's fake. That's misleading, as I said at the beginning of this video. You must understand that this is normal and there's no way around it. It's just how it is. Losing trades are part of the game, and even the best professional traders lose. And honestly, I first started with traders with 70% win rate, then 50% win rate, and in the last 6-8 months, I've been talking and learning from traders with 32, 35, 36% win rates, which are way more profitable and way more consistent than the other past mentors. And the biggest lesson from that is, and the biggest truth about that is, as I said, consistency, it's usually boring, but at the end and in the long run, it outperforms whatever is extremely perfect nowadays and today, because usually whatever is perfect today, it's way harder to replicate over time. So losing is part of the game. Don't focus on the outcome of just one single trade. Make sure you understand big sample sizes. Make sure you understand the analytics, like for example, your maximum losing streak, your average losing streak, and this will help you manage losing streaks or losing trades way easier without changing something and jumping to another strategy or into another mentor. And as I said here, success isn't about never losing. It's actually about managing losses the right way. It is. And how you manage it the right way, focusing on data. That's my key takeaway, honestly. And finally, it's been a long video. I've been talking for 23 minutes. Holy. The one shortcut that actually works. I know I said that there's no shortcut, but I want you guys to listen a little bit in here, which is when I say shortcut, is just to make things a little bit easier. And this is personally what helped me a lot. Like this helped me like in insane amounts, because I know people that started at the same time and they're not even close to where I'm at. And I'm not saying I'm the best trader, but the reason for this is because I invested in this mentors. I invested in education. Don't be afraid of that. I know people that they just decided to learn by themselves. They just decided to find their own strategy. And this takes way long. And I'm not saying that's a bad path to go. It's just that it's a longer path. And both paths, of course, have benefits, pros and cons. But in my opinion, if you're actually looking for a shortcut that actually works, the shortcut is found by investing in good education and investing in a good mentor. How you find good education? make sure that whoever you purchase a course, I don't have a course myself, but if you're gonna go out and look for a course, make sure that the mentor or whoever is selling the course don't have Lamborghinis or Ferraris in their Instagram as their main profile feed, for example. Just avoid those, or those that show their watches consistently. In my opinion, what I've learned in this last 3 years is go for the low-key mentors, for the mentors that don't show anything, that they are just calm, that they just know what they're doing, but they don't need to show off. Those that are focused on actually trading. Me, myself, I create content. And if I had to recommend one mentor, I would say maybe go for a mentor that don't create content, because those are usually only focused on trading, and they're not bargaining, and they're not showing off their material things, their watches, their luxurious lifestyle. And I'm not saying they don't have money. Like I've know a lot of mentors that they don't show off absolutely anything, and they have way more money than those who show it, because they're actually investing in long-term assets. They're investing in real estate. They're investing in mutual funds. They're investing in ETFs, long-term portfolios, and they're building their retirement basically, yeah, they're like their retirement funds, you know what I mean. But that will be my key takeaway in this: is if you're looking for good education, which is mandatory in my opinion, it's the most useful thing to do, is go and look up for a mentor that actually provides real value, avoids showing their luxurious lifestyle, and actually will teach you how to trade. So I'm not being hater with every other trader that shows their cars. They can do it, and I'm not saying they're not profitable. I'm just saying that based on my knowledge and based on my experience, those who show too much, most of the times don't even know what they're doing. They're just making money by selling courses, rather than the ones that are not showing you absolutely anything and they're just keeping their profile low, are the ones that are actually making money, and those should be your mentors. So that will be my key takeaway, one of the key truths that I wanted to share with you all. And that was basically the video for today. I'm exhausted, not gonna lie. Talking to the camera by literally 27 straight minutes is tough, but I'm 100% sure that this information will help at least one of you. And if it does, and it helps at least one of you, I'm happy. So if you want to keep seeing these raw videos, these long format videos where I just speak to the camera, you see me making mistakes and whatever, just let me know in the comments if you want to keep these videos in the channel. And as always, make sure to subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and see you guys in the next video. Take care.